There are people who will have been waiting for me to review the Summer Showdown I went to today, this evening. It is hard to review. It is hard to review because each period's 15 minutes. They started off 5-on-5 in the first period, 4-on-4 in the second, 3-on-3 in the third, and then they had a shootout. I'm going to go through this because there were a lot of guys in this game that I hadn't heard of. I know there were some that I had seen playing for Vancouver, Victoria, whatnot. Um, Tyler Madden scored a nice goal in the game. Of course, he was a draft pick this past month for the Vancouver Canucks. The one thing that emerged to me in this game was that Cole Lind is on the verge of being a very good prospect. With the right amount of seasoning, I think he's going to be an NHL player. I think he looked relatively good to me. But Petrus Palmu really stole the show. I was told, I remember, especially with a couple of Finnish subscribers, they said, you're going to really like Palmu, you're welcome, kind of thing. Yeah, he looked pretty good out there. He is on the small side, too. I know, just from looking at him out there, he seemed to be on the small side. But he impressed me. Jet Wu, I liked his game as well. Because they went 4-on-4 and then 3-on-3. Got harder to really pick out the good positional players. Quinn Hughes has wheels. Quinn Hughes was pinching quite a bit when he was out there. I'll be interested to see what he does in training camp with NHL players. It's hard to get a read on guys out there tonight. Jared Lucas Vicious, or Lucas Vicious, or Lucas. Anyways, I know the announcer pronounced his name, and I was like, all right, remember that name. He's from Squamish, BC. He is 23 years of age currently. I hope he comes out of this experience with at least a tryout for American Hockey League. He had a couple of goals in tonight's game, and again, it's a no-hitting game for the most part. Pretty clean game. There were some clear offsides they didn't call, which I was like, that was clearly offside. And then I see the linesman like this, and I'm like, wait, what? No, that was offside. Anyways, so it makes it hard for me to really get a grip on who was necessarily really good. I didn't see Gadjevich out there at all, so I can't say anything about him. I saw Isaac Nurse out there, clearly the brother of Darnell Nurse, and he was impressive enough that I would hope he'd get a closer look. But again, for me to say coming out of this, oh, this guy's going to be an NHLer or this guy isn't, it's really hard to say. Savan Kara was another one I noticed out there. War 73, which is part of the reason why I paid attention to that, because of the number, that being my birth year and all. But yeah, Tyler Madden impressed me. Paul Moo impressed me. Lind has wheels. He wound up for a slap shot and then just kind of handed it to the goalie. In net, DiPietro faced a lot of shots. He looks good, but he definitely needs a lot of seasoning. So I don't look at DiPietro and say, well, he's good enough that I would just give up on Demko, and not give up on Demko, but trade Demko for some help somewhere else. No. But he of the four goalies that played, I actually thought Matt Thiessen was pretty good too. He's from Altona, Manitoba, and he's 18 years of age. So I thought he looked good too, to be honest. Purbu, I didn't see enough of it the other end of the ice to say one way or the other. Corbin Bose, he's 25, so he was older than the other goalies that I was paying the closest attention to. And I can't really say one way or the other which ones should stay and which ones shouldn't. I think Josh Taves, Teves. Josh Teves should get a shot just because he's close enough to Taves that it would drive people nuts. Dylan Plouffe, and I recognize that name. So I'm like, all right, I've seen him playing junior. Dylan Plouffe, who's from Sherwood Park, Alberta. I noticed him in the game. But again, it was kind of all over. One guy I'd like to see make it, he's from Coquitlam, Adam Rockwood. just because the name Rockwood is hockey. That's a great hockey name. McMaster had a nice goal as well. Adam McMaster. That's a good hockey name as well. There's Tanner McMaster was out there as well. One's MAC and one's MC. So for that reason, bring them both in so that you confuse people. Well, which one is it, Mick or Mac McMaster? Anyways, and then while all this is going on, let's go ahead and segue into the big thing. Karlsson's traded. No, he isn't. Now, there were guys sitting behind me at tonight's game who recognized me from videos, and I was talking a bit to them. And I handed off to them, like, looks like Karlsson's traded. Somebody messaged me and said Karlsson's traded, and even said, here's the particulars. So I handed off to them. I said, it looks like it's Rangers, Tampa, and Ottawa. Okay. And then I started checking Twitter, and there's Elliot Friedman saying no. And other people saying, not so quick. This is hours after numerous sources were saying Karlsson's gone to Tampa. And then I turned around to tell the guys behind me, hey, apparently it's not happening, and everybody's confused. And they said, yeah, we're checking too. So everybody was on their phones, and that did distract me from the end of this game, which was weird because the clock just ticked off while the players stood around and talked to each other rather than dropping the puck for a face-off. And it was hard. It was hard to really get involved in this. And part of what makes it difficult to grade players in a game like this is it is a no-hitter. It is not a competitive game. Guys are trying not to hurt each other or get hurt. There was no real anger that I saw. There was one point where a player gets tripped and kind of gets up and goes over to the guy who trips him, kind of with this whole, like, what are you doing attitude. They interviewed Jake Virtanen. He was at the bench. That would be great if I could have understood a single word Virtanen said. I didn't understand a word of it other than goals and Quinn. So I assume he talked about Quinn Hughes, and I assume he talked about scoring goals, and that's all I can say about that. Because all anybody really was talking about at that point was Karlsson. And it's funny because I know there's fans who say, you know what, this whole Karlsson thing, just let it go. Just forget about it. We can't. It is the biggest name to be involved in trade talks. I can't remember the last time I've seen a defenseman this young, of this standing in the NHL, available for trade. And clearly Tampa Bay has the inside track. Dallas has reportedly dropped out. And the one thing that threw me with the trade that apparently had gone through was that Bobby Ryan's contract was nowhere to be found in that trade. And rumor has it that that will be in that trade. And that the Rangers are willing to become involved because they have cap space. So they're basically like, all right, we'll take on some money, and in exchange, we'll do ourselves a bit of a favor here and take on some extra draft picks coming up into 2019 when it's going to be pretty important to have draft picks. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow and Karlsson's going to be a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. But it's clear there's too many sources with NHL ties who are saying this is happening. This is going to take place. He is going to be a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. There are too many people saying it for it not to happen. Although, until it is official, other teams will jump in. Statement was made on video I did on this this whole Karlsson thing, which was, there's no rush for Ottawa. You're right. But there may be for Tampa. Yzerman might be looking and going, holy crap, this guy's available, I want him now. So it may very well be Karlsson going to Tampa because Yzerman has been pestering the Senators. Yzerman has a contract in place with Eriksson. Maybe Eriksson took 10 years or $10 million a year for 7 years from Tampa because he wants to play with Victor Hedman so bad. We know they get along. We know they're friends. And we know that the two of them together on the ice would be one hell of a scary duo. Now, the trade particulars would seem to be this. Ottawa clearly can't afford to just sell everybody off because they've got that number one draft pick that belongs to Colorado. They can't afford to do a complete total rebuild because the first round draft pick next year is not theirs. If they tear it down, Joe Sakic could be popping champagne next June, having a chance to draft Jack Hughes first overall. to a team that doesn't really need Hughes, giving Colorado even more chance to go out there, trade somebody, and build basically a super team in the West. Tampa wants this to happen. There are numerous GMs that want this to happen. And honestly, if you're a GM in the NHL and you know you have a shot at getting Erik Karlsson, that could be a game changer. So no, the Ottawa Senators don't have to make a move right now, but their phone will be ringing off the hook with other GMs saying, we want this done now because we can extend them. We can give them a 7-year extension. We can get them onto the team well before training camp because you don't want to disturb your team during the season with this massive trade with pieces going out and coming in. So get it done now so that everything's settled by September. That's why these rumors are out there. That's why it makes sense for the Karlsson deal to take place now. And I was the one that said at last year's trade deadline, I didn't see it happening. Going to the draft, I didn't really see it happening. But right now, it makes a lot of sense for it to take place. This is the perfect time for it to happen. So we'll see. But it dominated this game, which honestly, I think Team White won 6-5. But you know, it just everybody was cheering every goal. I guess the best thing I could say about it is the Canucks won because they played themselves, and Quinn Hughes has some offensive instincts that are well worth keeping around. Jet Wu looked pretty good, small kid, but you know, honestly, that's kind of the way the league's moving now, is towards smaller players. And yeah, there really isn't a whole lot else for me to throw in on top of that. So if you were at this game tonight, let me know. At what point in the game did it become the Erik Karlsson sweepstakes? Because my phone went nuts. My phone went nuts late in the game, and I was like, okay, my phone keeps buzzing. What's going on? And it's just Karlsson, 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 Karlsson. And it was email, Instagram, Twitter, all of them. So, you know, this, and everybody around me is talking about Karlsson. So this is the biggest news in hockey right now. And it definitely dominated parts of the game we went to. So it was a fun night. I wish we hadn't been stuck in traffic and we could have got there sooner. We actually got there a few minutes after the game started because traffic was in between here and Langley, as it always is. But hey, it was a fun game. We'll definitely do it again because, you know, for $20, I mean, going to watch hockey for $20 where you've got NHL level talent. Even if Quinn Hughes is the only one I saw tonight that makes the Canucks in the fall, or even if it's only Palmu that gets a shot at the Canucks, I'm glad I saw him. So there you go, my opinion of tonight's game and on what's going on with Karlsson. And I stand by my tweet tonight, which included a gif of Squirrely Dan. For anybody who's wondered about my Twitter that I mentioned here and there, it's at Shan's Boomstick is what you follow on Twitter. So if it's not at Shan's Boomstick, Boomstick being Ash versus Evil Dead, Ash Williams, there you go. If it's not that one, it's not me. But that's my Twitter handle, and yeah, I'll keep checking Twitter, but I don't think it's happening tonight. It's going to happen when I'm on the plane going to Vegas tomorrow. That's what's going to happen. Watch tomorrow morning for a last update on the Vegas meetup for people in Vegas who are going to be there. I'm going to put out a video tomorrow. I'll post it to the Facebook page as well, and we'll make sure that as many people that are interested in going know what's going on for Saturday and potentially for Sunday as well. And I only say potentially because something's happening. We just don't know the exact particulars of it yet. We just know we'll be out in Summerlin, so that's the area we're looking at. But that's it for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do not forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I'll talk to you again soon.